Hi, I'm Steve Wishau from PICO. We get a lot of questions about how we manage the bill of materials within our product, and we like to keep it as a reference for our operators so we have a good idea of what we're building at any given time on any step in the process. When we talk about high-level BOM management, we can see what we're doing in any given step for an entire process or even for an entire product. And the example I'll be walking through is the case of a bicycle. So in my example that I have here, I'm installing the seat post with the seat onto my bicycle, and I can see the bill of materials and the products I'll be using to build that bike. And we can see it for our full process. This is just a few step process, but I can see all of my reference materials here with their part numbers and their revisions, their quantities that I need, and what step they're used on. So I'll use these set screws as an example. I can assign these to those specific steps or put a specific process quantity on those. If I have any discrepancies, for example, my ERP, my bill of materials says I should have 5 of these. It'll show me if I have an unused quantity as part of my process. But from there, we can talk through what it actually looks like on the step for those operators. We have that table embedded directly on the side of the work instructions here, but we can also toggle that to change it, that if we want to move it to the top right of the image to free up more room for text here, we can certainly do so. The bill of materials has an ability to be expanded and collapsed. So for my more experienced folks that don't actually need to see this, I can kind of minimize it, have it out of the way, and have this information available for those inexperienced folks that might want to have this as a reference, but I don't actually need to do anything. I can always edit this material, which will drive changes back to the top level of the process, but I can see all of my descriptions, part numbers, quantities, change my units as needed here as well. So when we talk about from an interactivity from the operator standpoint, it's going to behave very similarly. When I'm actually on my build screen here as an operator, I can come in here, expand, collapse, move this around as needed, just to review the material I have available for me. So the way that we want to manage this for the operator, again, is to have a reference to be able to see what they're working on at any given time. We use a couple different ways to validate that reference. So if we want to make sure we're scanning the right part number, we can have them scan in something, for example, the seat post lot code, to make sure it's the right revision, the right part number. Let's say we're building a mountain bike versus a road bike where those structures might be a little bit different. We want to make sure they're grabbing the right part off the shelf. We can put in some error proofing to show that they are scanning the right thing, just how we do our normal serial number tracking, whether it's a lot code, a part number, a serial number, we track all those as well. From an integration error proofing standpoint, we also have the ability to communicate with Pictolite systems for both notifications on illuminating bins to show what bin is supposed to be picked from. In this case, if I want to pick out my 510414 set screw, we can illuminate a light above that bin. Alternatively, put a little detection on there so we can make sure when someone reaches their hand in, we can see that they have indeed picked the right part. From an overall BOM integration standpoint with an ERP, this is purely a reference. And when we complete a work order, when your systems are connected, we can backflush that inventory when it happens as part of that work order completion. So whether I've completed this seat post install or I've backflushed I've finished building that bike at the end of the workflow, I can backflush the inventory and make sure that all of my material consumption is working as appropriate. So if you'd like to learn more about how this BOM tool is used within PICO or try it for yourself in your work instructions, you can sign up for free today at picomes.com.